Steve Harvey's story begins far from bright lights in television studios. Born as Broderick Stephen Harvey in 1957 in Welch, West Virginia, he grew up in a modest household shaped by hard work and faith. His father worked long days as a coal miner, while his mother taught Sunday school and filled their home with encouragement and prayer. Life was simple and often difficult, but it carried powerful lessons about discipline and resilience. As a young boy, Steve once wrote down a dream for a school assignment: "I want to be on TV." Instead of praise, he was met with doubt and laughter from his teacher and classmates. It was a moment that could have crushed his confidence. Yet when he showed the paper to his father, he received a very different response. His father told him to keep the paper and look at it every day. That simple advice planted the seed of determination that would quietly guide Steve for decades. Growing up with a voice that struggled to speak as a child, Steve faced a challenge that made his dream feel even more impossible. He struggled with a severe stutter that made speaking in front of others incredibly difficult. Every sentence required patience and courage, and ordinary conversations could feel overwhelming. While other children spoke freely, Steve often chose silence. Yet that silence taught him something powerful. Instead of talking, he learned to observe people closely, their expressions, their reactions, their habits. Those quiet years sharpened the skills that would later make him a great storyteller and comedian. Over time, he slowly learned techniques to manage his stutter, gaining more confidence in his voice. What once felt like a limitation eventually became part of his strength. The boy who struggled to say simple words would one day speak to millions of people around the world, but at the time, that future still seemed incredibly distant. Searching for direction in early adulthood. After finishing school, Steve's path was anything but clear. He tried college, but soon realized it was not the right fit for him. Like many young adults searching for purpose, he moved from one job to another. He worked on a factory assembly line, sold insurance, delivered mail, and tried several other careers. Each job paid the bills, but left him feeling unfulfilled. Deep down, he knew he had something more to offer, though he wasn't sure how to find it. Friends often told him he was naturally funny. In break rooms and barbershops, he could easily make people laugh. For years, it was simply a talent he shared casually with others. But eventually, someone suggested he try stand-up comedy. The idea sounded risky and unfamiliar, yet something inside him felt curious enough to give it a chance. The first step onto a comedy stage. Steve's first time performing stand-up comedy took place at a small comedy club in Cleveland. He had never written a professional routine before and had little idea what to expect. Still, he walked onto the stage and faced the audience. Something remarkable happened in that moment. The same voice that once struggled to speak began to flow naturally. His stories connected with people, and laughter filled the room. That experience gave him a glimpse of what his life might become. Soon after winning an amateur competition, he made a bold decision. He left his steady job to pursue comedy full-time. It was a leap of faith that brought excitement, but also uncertainty. Opportunities were inconsistent, and building a career in comedy required patience and resilience. Yet Steve believed that if he kept improving his craft, the path would eventually open. The difficult years of persistence. The early years of Steve's comedy career were extremely challenging. Travel between shows was constant, and the pay was often minimal. Many nights he drove long distances to perform short sets for small audiences. Despite the hardships, those experiences became his training ground. Each show taught him something new about timing, storytelling, and connecting with people. Instead of giving up, he kept refining his style and learning from every stage he stepped onto. During this period, he developed the observational humor that would later become his signature. He spoke about everyday life, relationships, and the shared experiences that audiences could easily recognize. Slowly, his reputation began to grow within comedy circles. It was not overnight success, but steady progress built through persistence and dedication. A breakthrough on the Apollo Stage 1 of the turning points in Steve Harvey's career came when he appeared at the legendary Apollo Theater in Harlem. Known for its energetic and honest audiences, the Apollo was a place where performers truly had to earn their applause. When Steve stepped onto that stage, he brought confidence, quick wit, and a deep understanding of the crowd. His performance impressed both the audience and producers, eventually leading to his role as host of the television show Showtime at the Apollo. This opportunity introduced him to a much larger audience and helped establish him as a leading voice in comedy. Hosting the show required more than just telling jokes. It meant managing the energy of the room and connecting with performers and viewers alike. Steve embraced the challenge and quickly became one of the most recognizable personalities in the program, reinventing himself through radio and writing. As the entertainment industry changed in the early 2000s, Steve Harvey recognized the importance of evolving. He began hosting the Steve Harvey Morning Show, a radio program where listeners could hear a different side of him. Instead of only telling jokes, he shared life advice, personal stories, and reflections on relationships and faith. The program quickly developed a loyal audience. Many listeners appreciated his honest and direct approach to discussing everyday challenges. These conversations eventually inspired his best-selling book, Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man. The book resonated with readers and stayed on bestseller lists for months. It later inspired successful films and expanded Steve's reputation beyond comedy. He was no longer known only as a comedian. He had become a motivational voice and cultural commentator who spoke about life experiences with sincerity and humor. A new era with Family Feud. Another major chapter in Steve Harvey's career began when he became the host of the long-running game show Family Feud. At the time, the program had been on television for decades, but Steve brought a fresh energy that transformed it. Instead of simply reading questions and answers, he reacted to contestants with genuine surprise, humor, and expressive facial reactions. These moments made the show entertaining, even for viewers who were not focused on the competition itself. Clips of his reactions began spreading widely online, introducing him to a new generation of fans. Under his leadership, the show's popularity surged again, becoming one of the most watched programs in its category. Steve had once again reinvented himself, proving that adaptability and creativity were key ingredients in a long and successful career. Learning from public mistakes and moving forward. In 2015, while hosting the global pageant Miss Universe 2015, Steve Harvey experienced a widely discussed on-air mistake when announcing the winner. The moment quickly spread across news outlets and social media. Instead of avoiding the situation, Steve chose to address it openly. He publicly apologized and corrected the result on stage, demonstrating accountability in front of millions of viewers. While the incident was uncomfortable, it also showed the importance of owning mistakes and moving forward with humility. Over time, audiences recognized his willingness to take responsibility and continue his work with professionalism. The experience became another reminder that even successful careers include moments of difficulty, and how a person responds to those moments often defines their character. The philosophy of taking the leap. In later years, Steve Harvey began sharing a message that reflected his own journey. He often speaks about the importance of taking risks in pursuit of meaningful goals. According to his philosophy, opportunities rarely appear when everything feels comfortable or perfectly planned. Sometimes people must step forward despite uncertainty and trust that their effort and preparation will guide them. Steve describes this idea as taking the jump, choosing courage over fear when pursuing a dream. His words resonate with many people because they come from real experience. He knows what it feels like to start with limited resources, to face doubt, and to keep moving forward anyway. Through speaking engagements, television, and mentoring programs, he encourages young people to believe in their potential and remain persistent. A legacy built on resilience and growth. Today, Steve Harvey is recognized not only as a comedian and television host, but also as a mentor, author, and entrepreneur. Through initiatives such as the Steve and Marjorie Harvey Foundation, he supports educational programs and mentoring opportunities for young people, particularly those who lack guidance or resources. His life story continues to inspire audiences because it reflects perseverance, adaptability, and personal growth. From a young boy with a dream written on a piece of paper to a global media personality, his journey shows that success rarely follows a straight path. It is built through patience, learning, and the willingness to begin again whenever necessary. Steve Harvey's story reminds us that dreams often begin quietly, but with determination and courage, they can grow into something far greater than anyone first imagined.